Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Lego Dungeons and Dragons, and we are going to talk about the elf bard with lute and sword. I think it's not a scimitar. I think it's just a longsword. But it has a different guard, and one of the people who covered it said it actually may be completely new print just for Dungeons and Dragons. So like a new sword that came out just for Dungeons and Dragons, which is huge. Right now, I think probably what happened is they wanted to update one of the swords, and they just used a Lego Dungeons and Dragons set to do that. But let's talk about this elf bard. And first of all, some, not all of these, have a male and a female head, which I think is fantastic. It's great. No points from Lego for not doing that for every minifigure. It's great. They're doing it for some, not all. This is not really a big deal because getting Lego heads is not hard to do. You can get, faceless heads. You can get, smiles and frowns, whatever you need, right? And you can get them in literally every skin tone imaginable and far beyond human skin tones. It's really fantastic. So, but this is a light skin tone. And there's a happy, this is the bard, and it's also an elf. And to be clear, elf ears are coming on hair pieces. That's interesting. I think that's totally okay. I don't have any problems with that. And this allows us to immediately identify an elf in male or female at the table, and we have elf ears, right? So, and that's a big deal because elves are super common in Dungeons and Dragons because we just got the printing. Dungeons and Dragons wrote Tolkien characters, human, dwarf, elf, directly into Dungeons and Dragons literally from day one, right? So these are Tolkien. If you're looking at D&D from the source, from the gate, right? They were always modeled after Tolkien's work. There used to be some debate on that. There's no more debate on it. They just printed a 500-page book that literally proves it, right? Like Hobbit is right up in the first D&D 1E listed Hobbit, right? Like that's, So so Lego is picking up where D&D started, and these are really elves, dwarves, and humans modeled after the Tolkien model, which really is the global template for fantasy, right? Like, so I think that's kind of interesting. Is this elf bard that is transposable to male or female with the head? Is it a good use of the slot? 100%. We absolutely need a bard. And by the way, getting a lute is a little bit difficult. It was a little difficult before this, right? They're not super expensive, but you don't find them in a lot of sets. And this is going to save people a lot of trouble, right? If you want a bard, now they may not even play that instrument, right? And so one of the things that I've already started doing at my table is like, hey, you're a bard, here's your lute. Everybody at the table can immediately visibly tell that you're a bard, but you don't have to play and you don't have to play that. Like if you want to play a flute. Now, actually, flute is really easy. There's lots of cylinders that look like flutes but if you want to play something else, that's totally okay. A drum, whatever, right? But this lute is telling the world that your collectible minifigure is a bard, and it can immediately be visually identifiable from the table, easily at the table, and that's a big deal. So let's talk about the execution on this bard. I did not like this color scheme. I did not like the scarf. I did not like the execution of this bard in any way. Am I unhappy with it? Not in any way. I love it, right? I love the collectible minifigure, and I love that it's not giving me what I want, right? Like, I felt that this was a really airy, light-colored, light take on the bard, right? And he and she, however you get this elf bard out. Oh, by the way, I'm really excited that we have a pure elf, right? Like, just like, here's an elf, right? Like that, like, wrong word. I don't want to say pure elf. An elf, right? Because we're no longer dealing with halves, right? Okay, I get it, right? So, and actually, you could of course have. So basically, the way you say it is the father is a human, the mother is an elf, or the mother is an elf, the father is human, and and we're trying to get away from half elf and half orc. They're literally no longer in the PHP. But it's not that we're getting rid of half species. We're saying you can do any, you can mix any two species, and that's okay. Love is love is love is love. So it's kind of a big deal. But I really like that we're getting an elf. We really needed that species. We needed more examples of that species. And, but man, everything about this, I would not have done it this way. But I really love that we're getting Lego's take. And Lego is impacting Dungeons & Dragons canon. And they're saying, hey, a Dungeons & Dragons Bard is not what you think it is. It looks a little different. It hits a little different. The colors are a little different. The clothes are different than you expected. And I love that. I love that I'm surprised. I'm shocked. Maybe I'm even a little disappointed because their view is different. And the reason why is I'm trying to be unselfish about this. I don't want every figure to be like everything I want. I'm so ecstatic that this Lego Dungeons & Dragons set is serving Dragon Masters and Dungeon Masters so well, but also not just us. Lego collectors who have never played Dungeons & Dragons are coming out of the woodwork and saying beautiful, wonderful things about Dungeons & Dragons. And they are discovering Dungeons & Dragons, and many of them have no intention to play Dungeons & Dragons, right? And that's okay. I'm so glad that they're here with us. I'm so proud of Dungeons & Dragons getting to the point where it is winning fans for people who do not play Dungeons & Dragons, right? And that is a good thing. I ride a bicycle, right? If in the city, right, with cars, right? You know what the number one thing to safety is? Nothing changes bicycle safety more than there are bikes out there, people see them all the time, and they don't surprise drivers, right? And so I love that there are all these new Dungeons & Dragons fans, but they're a fan from the Lego perspective. They're like, I have 12 Lego Dungeons & Dragons minifigures. I've never played a game. I don't know who Zastam is, right? But I sure do love that figure, right? Welcome every Lego collector, right? And it's just so good to have you here. This was a fantastic collectible minifig. I'm so thrilled with it. Also, this is the last one. I covered them all. So thank you for going on this journey with me. And I am really proud to have this finished. And I'm really thrilled about all these changes we're getting in Lego in Dungeons & Dragons, and how Dungeons & Dragons is changing Lego forever, right? Both sides are changing the other side forever. And I could not be more thrilled. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. Absolutely nothing more and absolutely nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.